Hello YouTube, Canadian Edge here, and it's time for a knife review. And the knife that we are going to take a look at today, it is the CRKT PSD, or particle separation device. If you watch the unboxing, I have been looking at this knife for quite a while, and finally got around to picking it up and adding it to the collection. So let's take a look at this without any further ado. This knife has a blade length of 3.63 inches. Open it is 8.19 inches, so it's a good sized knife. And closed it is 4.59 inches. The steel on this, it is a 1.4116 stainless steel. And you've got a drop point blade on it. The weight on this, it does have a little more weight. It's 4.6 ounces. And the handle, it is a carbon fiber overlay with the G10 underneath. And then you got the stainless steel liners. And you've got a bit of a spacer there as well. So I'm liking this carbon fiber. Sometimes I'm not a real fan of the carbon fiber, but I like what they've done with this one. And so yeah, it's a good look on there. The pocket clip on this, it is a stainless steel pocket clip. It's a smaller pocket clip, but it is only right hand. And so you can change it to tip up or tip down carry, but sorry lefties, it is not reversible. So, and it's not quite deep carry, but it's pretty darn close. There's a little bit of the knife that sticks out, but not very much. And I do like that pocket clip. The opening on this, it is a flipper opening, and it's also assisted opening. So it has a little bit of snap to it, and you can hear that, I hope. And so, yes, CRKT, they do a lot of us. Well, I shouldn't say a lot. They do a number of assisted openings on their knives. And it seems to work out pretty well. I'm not a huge fan of the assisted, but anyway. It does have jimping on the back of the blade there, and also jimping on the liner lock. And so, yes, it is a liner lock. And it does have a finger choil in there so that you can change up the grip on the knife. It has the CRKT IKBS ball bearing pivot system. So they have their pivot system, which is well known with the CRKT knives, and it works very well. It's a smooth pivot on it. And for those that like the lanyard, it does have a lanyard hole as well. So you can place a lanyard in there for use. You can see, at least I hope you can see, that the blade does line up. It's pretty much centered. And there's no blade play. Up and down, side to side. It sits in there nice and solid. So very happy about that. So yes, I have been looking at this knife for a long time when it first came out. I like the aesthetics of this knife. I think it's a sharp looking knife. I like the carbon fiber. But the blade was what stood out to me. They call it a harpoon style blade. I like the way it looked, and it's just a little different from a lot of the blades that are out there, and had real good appeal to me. And then what they've done with the carbon fiber, the aesthetics of it, it looks really well. I like the blue spacer under the pivot cap there, and it's just a nice look. And they have it on this side as well, so that I don't know if you can see that with my lighting. Yep, So it has the blue spacer under there just to give a little bit of an accent. So it makes it look a little more attractive if you care what your knife looks like. The ergonomics on this, really good ergonomics, very comfortable knife in the hand. The different grips you can get. Now, if you watch any of my videos, you know I have a medium-sized hand. So you guys with bigger hands, you're probably going to use the finger choil just to get a comfortable grip on the knife. But yeah, it does have a smaller handle. So, not a big deal. You do have the choil there to change up the grip and to give you a little more control for fine slicing if you're using it for fine slicing and that. So yeah, and you know what I forgot to do? I took a couple weeks off there for summer stuff, and now I'm out of practice. Sorry about that. We didn't do a size comparison, so let's do a size comparison. We have the Benchmade Bug Out, so you can see it's definitely bigger than the Benchmade Bug Out. We have the Ontario Rat 2, and you can see it is definitely bigger than the Rat 2. So let's pull out a couple bigger knives and see how they fare. We have the Sencut Saxi, and it's still got a bit of length on the Sencut. And we've got the Civivi Cogent. And so, yeah, it still has a bit of length on the Cogent as well. So it's a good size knife. For those of you looking for a larger knife, this might fit the bill for you. And in terms of sharpness, now the 1.4116 steel, it'll be an easy steel to sharpen, and you can see it cut through the zip tie pretty easily, and no effort involved in cutting through the cord there. So it does have a nice sharp blade. Let's see what it does on the newspaper, and you can see it cuts paper fairly easily. So I have I've used this to open a few packages and cut a few things, cut some plants out in the garden, different things like that, and it works quite well. So let's get back to what I like about this. I like the aesthetics. I already mentioned the ergonomics on it. Sorry, bit of a cough there. The ergonomics on it are very nice, fits in the hand really well. It's a very comfortable grip. It's also feels like, you know, you're not going to slip with this knife. It gives you a good opportunity to hang on to the knife. So good grip on it. The pivot on it, it is smooth. Although I'm not a real fan, as I say, of the assisted opening. I prefer the manual opening, and it's more of a soft assist. I mean, it still springs out pretty good, but it's not like some like I have the SOG Flash AT, and boy, you want to have a good hold on that when you open it up, because the assist on that is pretty powerful. This is a softer assist, so in my books it's not bad as far as assisted openings go. I don't mind it, but still prefer the manual. But the pivot on it is very smooth, and so I'm happy with that. And I don't have any CRKTs that the pivots don't work well on them, so they're reliable in that way. And even though this is a bigger knife, it fits well in the pocket. I was actually surprised. I was thinking when I first put it, or was going to put it in my pocket, that, you know, this is going to be a big bulky knife. But it's not really. It fits in the pocket very well. the angle that they have it sitting at, and that you don't really notice. I mean, you do notice it when you put your hand in your pocket, but you will any knife. But yeah, it's not a big bulky knife in the pocket, which I appreciate. I like that. It just makes it easier to get things in your pocket if you're not bashing into your knife all the time. So very happy with the way it sits in the pocket. Now, the couple things that I do dislike, sorry, I don't know why I've got this cough all of a sudden. A couple of the things that I do dislike about it, of course, my complaint that I always do is they did not make the pivot or the pocket clip screw flush. They flushed the pocket clip itself, but not the screw. So that's going to be a little bit of wear and tear on the pocket, which, you know, okay, whatever. It's not a big deal. But I just wish they'd make it all flush and have a little less wear and tear on the pocket. And one of the things I noticed, the liner lock on this, it is stiff. It is a very stiff liner lock. And I mean, the jimping is fine there on the back of the blade. And it has a bit of a thumb ramp, which also gives you a little extra purchase. Forgot to mention that. You know, it's pretty coarse jimping, but I just find that this jimping on this liner lock, it's not real comfortable due to the stiffness of the liner lock. But the positive thing is that it's going to stay in place. When you open it up, you're not going to worry that that's going to slide out of the way. It stays in place very well. But probably my biggest beef with this is, you know, they put the 1.4116 steel on this, which if you look it up, most of the steel comparisons will say it's similar to 440A or 440B steel. Maybe even comparable to the 420HC that Buck uses on their budget knives. But for the price point that they charge for this, which is really disappointing for me, like in Canada, this knife is, I believe it's about $104, and you're only getting 1.4116 steel on it. That, to me, CRKT, come on, seriously? Like, I can buy S35VN steel knives for roughly the same price. So, you know, yeah, it's easy to sharpen, but it's not going to hold the edge, and it's just not the quality steel for that price. And so I waited, which is one of the big reasons that I didn't get this when I first saw it, was that I waited for it to go on sale. So I only paid like $50 for this thing on sale, which still, you know, considering the steel on it, is still a lot in my books for that amount of steel. So CRKT, put better steel. If you're going to charge $100 for a knife, come on, put some decent steel on it to match. Otherwise, the rest of the knife, the design of the knife, everything else, I'm very happy with. Just wish it had better quality steel. And but it's not the end of the world. I mean, it'll still cut things and do the job. But for the price you pay, you want good steel if you're going to be paying that amount of money. So, but overall, you know, I'd recommend this, especially for guys, like I say, that want a bigger knife. You want something that you can work out in the campsite or on the workforce or whatever. You know, it'll do it, and it's a great looking knife and seems to be a good solid knife. So I wouldn't feel bad using this as an everyday carry. It would definitely be something I would consider as an everyday carry. especially if the price point was quite a bit lower. In my opinion, it should be more in the budget knife bracket. But anyway, given that, yes, I would consider this an everyday carry knife and a good knife for people looking for a bigger knife that they want to carry around with them. So check them out. I will put a link to this knife in the description for anybody that would like to check that out. I got this one at House of Knives. You can find them at different places online for different price points. So yeah, that is the CRKT PSD. And by the way, they do have a new version of this come out with more of a plain blade on it. It's the PSD 2 that CRKT just released. And I forget what steel they have on that. But anyway, you can check those out online as well. So CRKT PSD. All right, thank you for joining me on this review. I'll have another review coming up. Maybe some unboxings. Be sure to check them out. Hit like, hit subscribe, leave me a comment. I will get back to you. And thanks for taking the time to watch. So until we do this again, you stay safe and stay sharp.